What's going on YouTube? AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock here with another episode of Unlocking the Week, episode 74. I'm going to start things off with the local results that happened at Game On this past Saturday for Cardfight Vanguard, and then we're going to be going into the national tournaments that happened this past weekend for Bushiroad World Championships, including Cardfight Vanguard and Future Card Buddyfight, as both Joe Burns and Arturo performed respectively in those card games. And then we're going to be going into the video content you will expect for this week and conclude this episode with the breakdown of the latest Cardfight Vanguard anime episode, Ride 201 or G Turn 5. Now before I get this video started, I really want to apologize for putting this up late. I've really been in the wham bam moments of seeing old friends, as well as the Survivor Series pay-per-view and the Pacquiao-Algieri fight, so it's hard for me to really sit down, watch the episode, and edit it all in one go, but fortunately now I have time. So with what happened at Cardfight Vanguard this past weekend at Game On, it was the first of the Legion campaign. Now if you don't know what that is, Bushiroad has been promoting this quite a while, for at least a month or so, hyping up the new Legion format, and it's actually quite fun to play in this format, especially with, these different decks really going in on, hey, Legion can definitely help out some of these decks right here. And in order to participate, you can either buy a trial deck or 5 Cardfight Vanguard boosters, and then you can end up getting a Legion promo pack which has one of 6 clans, which could be Royal Paladin, Pale Moon, Mega Colony, Angel Feather, Murakumo, or Great Nature. And the thing is, if you actually enter a tournament with at least one Legion pair, you actually get to have the Legion promo card that's currently available, and there's 3 that comes out, 1 for each month. The first one is for CEO Amaterasu in the form of Goddess of the Crescent Moon, I think, or Hime, and then the next month after, in December, it's actually going to be the one for Top Idol Riviere, and then finally in January we're going to have the Legion, Legion where the mate is actually King of Knights Alfred. So that's going to be pretty hype. In terms of how I performed, I entered in with the D-Robos of Dimension Police, non-Legion unit, because I'm really hyped to get that Great Dayush Legion and start popping perfect guards for 1 counterblast. So round 1, I went up against Shane, and he was running Novell with, of course, Dauntless Dive Dragon. And it was pretty crazy. Game 1, I crit him almost every time I actually rode. So it was a bit okay. I think it's the same thing what happened with Joe last week. And then game 2, I ended up losing out because he had Novell and I couldn't really guard. I had zeros in my hand. I wasn't able to rush him down enough. And then game 3, I ended up getting Gradelocked at 0 for at least a turn or so. And it really sucked because I didn't know honestly what to do at that point. I was trying to see if I can do some shenanigans with the Superior Ride and go right into the Crossbreak Ride and try and see what I can perform with. But unfortunately that wasn't the case. I ended up losing out. And then round 2, I ended up going against Josh, and he was actually running the Royal Paladin Legions of the Seekers with support from the new trial deck that came out. And I gotta say, this, I think, Holy Flame Dragon, the one that's kind of like Soul Saver Dragon except in Legion form, and instead of Soul Blasting you just counterblast 2 Seekers, and you give 3 units or 3 Euro guards plus 5,000, and that's pretty insane because yes, it's a throwback to way back when we saw Soul Savior Dragon, and that was a really great turn ender for me. I really didn't have enough to guard with at that point. I tried to see if I could pull the shenanigans with Shadow Kaiser and go right into Great Dark Kaiser, get that triple drive check, but I wasn't able to do much with that anyway. So I ended up losing that round 2. And then round 3, I went against Rob, and he was actually running duos of Bermuda Triangle, so another non-Legion deck. I'm trying to think, alright, what am I going to do here? He had break right combos on top of break right combos. I honestly didn't know how to combat that. I was trying to figure out, alright, if I try and just keep hitting the Vanguard and just push him to that he'll end up having to drop some of his hand. But he was actually drawing quite a bit with how he performed, and especially when he got to the break right turn, I just had to be ready with, okay, as long as I take a hit, and I took a like a draw or crit trigger on my 5th damage, which helped me mitigate a lot of the pressure off of the break right turn, especially when you see raids swinging in not once but twice, and then you see the break rights go come in where you return all your Bermudas, and then Superior Call any 2 to fill up a rear guard column, and then raid swinging in for 25k off of the +3 from the limit break, or I think that's 24k. I'm not totally sure, but and I'm going into the second game where I ended up getting Gradelocked at once. So it was kind of a common theme I see. I know that he was trying to help me with, or at least shuffle my deck in terms of, instead of the power shuffle, in which that, you know, kind of just make 4 piles and you just do it randomly assort them. There was a deck profile version that he actually provided where it kind of separates your zeros, your ones and your twos. You shuffle the ones and twos together, and then you shuffle in the zeros, and then you just shuffle the grade 3s in, of course, which is, you know, around 7 to 10 units, and 10 is probably the max what I use for the D-Robos. Then round 4, I went up against Hector, and he was running some, I think, Angel Feather build, but actually he was running the Shadow Paladins, and he was running in a lot of different stuff. He was running, you know, Revengers, he was running the Witches, and I didn't know what exactly he was trying to accomplish, but he also guarded quite a bit early, which means that he didn't really have enough to guard with when I went into the break ride. Game 2 especially, I was waiting for Great Dark Kaiser to come in, or at least Shadow Kaiser, so I can really get in that triple drive check and get that pressure going. And he wasn't able to really recover from that. I know that in game 2 he double crit me, but thankfully I got a heal trigger on my 5th damage, and he was only at 4, so that means I was able to actually heal that damage off quite well, and that saved me to go into the turn next time. And then so I ended up going 1 and 3. I guess not too bad for the Legion format. I'm actually looking forward to building Musketeers though, since, you know, I kind of gave up a little bit on the CEO deck and went for, you know, I'm going to try a brand new Legion deck, kind of like something that I have to build from scratch. I just picked up the playset of the Sylvias, and now I have to pick up the Perfect Guards and then the triggers as well, just to kind of really get used to the playstyle. Because, I don't know, Musketeers, they look like waifu material, and plus their superior calling, their pluses, and etc. There are other stuff like that to control. Seems fairly interesting, and I would look forward to learn how to play that new deck in the next couple weeks to come, at least, you know, by the time they come out in the set 17 version E. Top 4 from what I remember was Shane. He ended up going almost like I think undefeated with Novell, and then we had Rob with duos. We had Jason with the CEO Yggdrasil of Genesis, and the 4th one I think was not TK. I know that there were a couple of Team Gradelock members that were there over the weekend. I think it was either oh yeah, it was Jenna, and Jenna was running Shadow Paladin Witches. So we had 2 Legion decks, 2 very popular Limit Break decks, so it's pretty interesting to see that, I guess, although Legion has made an impact, there are just some Limit Break decks that are too good to pass up and would really hold their own against Legion's very unique mechanic of just recycling triggers back into the deck. So good to see all 4 of them top, and I think those extra booster boxes are officially dead, because I think all the hollows were pulled from there at all, and it was just, wow, I can't believe it. So let's get into the national tournament that took place this past weekend for Cardfight Vanguard and Future Card Buddyfight, at least from the Team Gradelock perspective. Burns entered the tournament of 26 people with Shadow Paladin Abyss. It's a new Legion support in their extra booster Requiem at Dusk, and he placed 11th out of 26 people there, so glad to see him placed at least in the top half of that category. And we actually had Arturo when I think he used up Jackknife Gold Ritter again, and he actually won the national tournament. So we're very proud of both of those members for really giving their all and outstanding performances for their respective tournaments. And for Arturo, we're going to be looking forward when you advance onto the world stage, where you face off against the top guys from Europe and Asia respectively. I think that Bushiroad should be putting up their updates as to maybe deck recipes and I guess pictures from this past weekend, hopefully sometime soon this week, because we would like to see those photos and what else they would win out of it. So moving on into the next category, which is the video content you will see for this week. Now the unfortunate part is I had a deck profile recorded with John, and we were going over the Mega Colony deck that he updated recently. Of course, this was the one that was featured in the cliffhanger match between the Nova Grapple Beast Deities and the Mega Colony Master Neat. However, though, I apparently didn't know how to unlock my phone, which went right into the pin code, and I forgot the pin code. So I ended up automatically deleting and kind of giving a factory reset on my phone, so I'll have to re-record that deck profile hopefully on Wednesday if there's still time. But of course, I also mentioned about the Wei Schwartz match that was coming up in some of the videos from last week. I'll put that up hopefully either tomorrow or the very latest Wednesday, so we can get at least a matchup, and then I'll see if we can do a deck profile recording and have that up by either Thursday or Friday. I was wondering also, I know that Henry and CK, they were also accompanying Arturo and Burns to Chicago. I hope they were recording something. I probably will leave it up to Henry to see if he's going to upload the video himself, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully they were able to either record a match or even just a vlog, just saying, you know, the updates on how they performed. I know that what Burns told me was that there was at least half Kagero Nobel and over half of the Shadow Paladin Abyss, because Abyss apparently is very, very popular in the meta, and English meta, they were very heavily influenced by what was happening in the Japanese meta. But regardless, this is pretty cool to see, you know, Team Gradelock on the national stage now, and one of our members to advance to the world stage. Hopefully we'll see something awesome, and we'll look forward to see what's going to happen in the future, because it's pretty much inspiring us, everyone at Team Gradelock, to do better, to, you know, just play test that one more game, or just to learn the matchup one more time, or just to learn how to get out of particular situations, especially with sticky ones such as Nobel Break Ride, or even the Aquaforce Glory effect, or even the CEO Yggdrasil Legion effect, which is pretty darn broke. I've seen how Jason got into the top 4 when he faced off against Josh to see who would clinch that 4th spot, and it all came down to Jason really utilizing the Witches, or Regalia if I may say, to soul charge 3 Regalia units from the drop zone, put in the soul, and pretty much you're getting 3 stand triggers, where you saw last time you get the Vanguard +5 or so, and seeing the Vanguard with the Legion skill hit for 60k. Josh only had 3 10k shields in hand, and the rest of the cards are irrelevant because you can't get guard with grade 1s or higher. I was really blown away by that, seeing that in person. So I look forward to see what's going to happen next week when we have all of Team Gradelock back in and going in full force. It's going to be a very wild ride, I'll tell you that much. And in terms of what else will be happening this week, I gotta say, Wei Schwartz is starting to build up quite a bit. I know that in the New Jersey Cardfight Vanguard / Wei Schwartz group, there's actually been a surge of people that say, alright, when do you want to meet up? We got Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. We can just come in, have casuals, and just play, learn the matchups, etc., and just, you know, be better at the game. And I was more than happy to try and, you know, be at the forefront of that movement. I already helped out Ryan build up his protagonist Teddy deck for, you know, Persona and Wei Schwartz, and I know Ian already completed his Howlin' Kyoko deck of Madoka Magica, and we're having also other people like Ralph and James and Ronnie coming in and just kind of showing what their decks can do, and having a pretty good variety of what's going on. I know that Kill Kill has been very popular, Love Live has been very popular, and SAO has always been in a soft spot on a lot of the Wei Schwartz players' hearts. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks to come in terms of Wei Schwartz. I know that if you join their Facebook group, you actually get to see at least a time or schedule of all the meetups that would take place every single week that goes down. So hopefully we'll see how that crowd develops, and it seems very good to kind of like really, you know, build a community even more from that. And so that concludes what's been happening lately, as well as, you know, hopefully the video content will go as scheduled, and we'll provide you updates as we go along. And after Thanksgiving weekend, we'll have the Facebook page up pretty much updated, and we'll start promoting that in our channel, probably put it in our video descriptions, and really get the ball rolling as to, you know, getting more subscribers, you know, getting more fans, and just, you know, learning more about the trading card game scene in general. And that's pretty much what the channel is going for right now, and I'm excited to try and take on a new project, and especially when I have, you know, I have a career going in terms of paralegal / law school, so I don't want to be a lawyer in video games, etc. And now let's get into the final part of this episode, which is the episode breakdown of the latest Cardfight Vanguard episode, Ride 201, or G Turn 5. So of course, if you haven't seen the episode yet, you can pause or close the video, go watch that episode, come back right here so we can talk about it. or you can just close out the video and be on your merry way. And so Ride 201 or G Turn 5, we get to see Tokoha Anjou, one of the new characters in the series, making her premiere after seeing, I guess, a cameo or so in previous episodes. But this character in particular, I guess she has a little bit more flair to it. And by when I say flair, she has, I guess, a pedigree. Apparently her brother happens to be this famous celebrity in Cardfight Vanguard that maybe has risen in the past year or two, but after the conclusion of what happened in Season 4. Seeing this character in particular, I automatically would think tsundere in my mind a little bit about her behavior. I can see her saying baka a whole lot, or idiot. Now, moving into the screenshots, we get to see a little bit more character development out of Chrono, and seeing how important this character is to the storyline, especially how he seems to be the only person that's running Gear Chronicle. So let's get the screenshots going. So opening up the episode, we get to see Toka really taking a good beating to Tsuneto, apparently 10 wins in a row. And due to some very good timing after she claims her 10th victory, we get to see the appearance of her brother in terms of the celebrity reaching the card shop, as Kamui would put it, which makes us wonder what in the world happened in those 1 to 2 years between Season 4 and Season 5. And so the introduction of these two characters in particular show off them to be quite the very sophisticated type. Well, at least we see Toka really good at playing Cardfight Vanguard, and we haven't seen her brother in action, although I would think he would be a very good player as well. And then sooner or later we get to see another one of, I guess, her friends in the form of Kumi, and she seems like the most calm, mellow girl I have ever seen in an anime ever. I don't even think this is like Kudere status, but at least seeing her just trying to find, I guess, a bun, I guess the same way how Rati likes donuts, we get to see Kumi trying to find a lost bun, and then we have, of course, Chrono kind of swooping in to say, hey, is this your bun right here? And says, oh, thank you so much. But the unfortunate part is we actually get to see what looks like to be Chrono bullying, and I mean bullying Kumi when Toka comes in at possibly the worst time, because what she sees is, of course, Chrono. It seems that he's trying to ask forcefully how Kumi would just hand over the bun, and of course she would be pretty pissed, because you're in the middle of school, you're in the middle of a crowd, and you just see Chrono just apparently acting like he's the boss, just getting the bun, which of course he gave to Kumi in the first place. Of course, this is just bad timing in the worst way. Now, fast forwarding after Kumi would explain herself to Tokoha, we get to see at least a regular meal being shared by this Tokoha family, and we see the brother apparently on a mission to find the mysterious clan known as Gear Chronicle. Of course, this is ringing a lot of bells in the head, because Chrono, we know, is the only person that runs that deck, and despite it being so rare, it's actually official and recognized by Cardfight Vanguard. So after accepting this quest, we get to see Kumi and Toka hang out at this diner and actually practice Cardfight Vanguard, with her showing Kumi the ropes as to, okay, guard, ride, attack, all of the game mechanics. And it seems like a pretty normal thing to see every now and then, because the thing is, I've actually been guilty of this as well, playing card games with one of my best friends at Fridays for a while on one night. And what better way to get affiliated with the Cardfight Vanguard lead than being part of the Friendly International Vanguard Association, and her, Kumi, finally getting a Fika card to jumpstart her journey, starting all the way from grade 0. And so after finally getting into the FIVA organization, both Tokoha and Kumi recognize a familiar face in the crowd in the form of Chrono. And then after winning the match, he ends up meeting these two girls again, and then all of a sudden accidentally dropping his deck, kind of like scattering the cards all over the place. When we see Toka actually try and help him out by picking up some of these cards, she recognizes the Gear Chronicle name. And then now all bells should be ringing in her head right now, because it was just today that her brother would talk to her about, hey, you find anybody that has a Gear Chronicle deck, you come to me and tell me immediately. It seems like a mission of life and death when kind of like looking back on it. But the thing is though, before Chrono could explain whatever was going on, apparently he had a really bad toothache and he had to leave. It was a little bit weird because we don't really see Chrono getting a toothache. I don't know if someone punched him or maybe wisdom teeth or something. I know that these guys were most likely in middle school, maybe not high school. They look too young and short for that. Now, the thing is, moving on into what's going to happen next in the episode, we then have a little, I guess, preview. Because after, Kamui helped hype things up, and then you get to see at least a very funny scene where Chrono doesn't know what to do about this pain, and of course he keeps grabbing his cheek because he wants to, know what in the world's going on. Does his tooth just hurt whenever he's around girls? Is it something else? Is it a medical condition? Because a lot of this stuff can go pretty random, and that can just generate all these different fan theories of what actually happened. But of course, the story moves on. And so we get into the third and final act of this episode, where Chrono decides to just try and mitigate the pain, try and think about something else, and return to Card Capital 2, where of course he's still holding his cheek, but then we get to see Team Trinity Dragon all of a sudden challenge him again. And the thing is though, he's not himself this time because of course with a pain like this, he can probably be a little bit on edge. And when trying to at least go up and accept a particular quest, he ends up even hurting himself even more. Now the thing is though, before moving on to that terminal, we get to see him almost lash out at Team Trinity Dragon. Of course, they looked really scared. I'm not sure what was going through their mind when they decided, hey, I'm going to fight you now. You don't look like yourself, but I'm going to challenge you anyway. And the thing is, after he almost scares everyone, says, alright, I'm just going to accept this quest and be done with it. And you would think that maybe Chrono remembers Kumi's name being mentioned at all, or maybe he was just that clueless, or maybe he wasn't even told about this until the very last second when he's finally introduced formally to the person who gave him the quest in the first place. And seeing how she ran Oracle Think Tank, this is going to be the Battle Sisters, so we're going to do a heavy throwback. Now, seeing what Chrono's going to do now, you can see the pain all of a sudden kind of creep up a little bit on him. And the thing is though, it was even worse because of course you had to have Kamui in the background just saying, hey, I'm just fixing the shelf. And that drill was like nails on a chalkboard for me. Oh my goodness. It was just horrifying just to see. And him trying to deal with everything and making a scene nonetheless, it was just awkward because this whole scene could have been all over the place. He could have just ran out a Card Capital 2 if he so pleases. But fortunately, he got in, kind of scared the crap out of Team Trinity Dragon, went to the terminal, accept the quest, all of a sudden get really annoyed by Kamui's drilling of fixing the shelf and scaring half the people, and now he finally gets to see, oh, you are my card fighter for today. Now right from the get-go, it seems that this card fight is going to be a little bit awkward. When they said their opening phrases such as stand up, Vanguard, they weren't even in sync. But this was just the beginning, as we actually get to see some old school Cardfight Vanguard mechanics. We get to see them actually attacking. We see people guarding. And Chrono making an obvious misplay saying, alright, I'm going to keep guarding. But the thing is though, look at your power differences. It's just going to be, like a 1 to pass, no to pass. But that crit trigger though, it's all about that crit trigger. And seeing that, it's actually kind of cool to see Kumi saying, hey, the fights are really fun, but let's rename that as card fights as really fun. And so as the card fight proceeds, we actually get to see the premiere of a new Grade 3 Battle Sister unit, so I'll look forward to what effects she has. But the thing is though, we're really missing the point that Kumi became the first person to defeat Chrono in a card fight, and in an ironic fashion, that was her first card fight as well, against the main character. And seeing the aftermath of that, how both Kamui and Tokoha would go on to say, okay, you're not yourself, Chrono. I don't know what this is, toothache or maybe something wrong with your mouth or something. You're not yourself. You didn't guard well in that attack. You probably weren't even that focused because obviously what we've seen in Chrono's performances from before, at least from if we can get a little montage, that he was able to steamroll a lot of his opponents with this new Gear Chronicle deck. And in the end, even though that's a defeat, Chrono would therefore remind us that this game is actually it's fun. It's always played for fun. And there can be a competitive aspect to it, but you can't leave out that fun time as well. Which I can see why the Cardfight Vanguard Casino is a casino for a reason. Because it couldn't be uber serious where, I'm going to send you to the Shadow Realm or something like that. But the fact that we're just saying, hey, this game is fun, and of course, shenanigans can happen. Grade locked, trigger stacking, etc. But knowing that this game is fun and building a community off of that, it was pretty much what John was saying, as well as some of the other members of Team Gradelock, that Cardfight Vanguard is a fun game to play, and it's probably one of the best community building games as well, because it brings out the best in all of us as well as maybe the worst in all of us. And that's okay too, because now we get to see a full spectrum of everyone, or at least how they act when they have everything and how they act when they have nothing. I know I got a little bit philosophical there for a second. And so what would Chrono do now? Well, of course, why not sack even more? I'm going to go into stride in the next card fight, and he places it down on the field. The light's pretty bright. Not a lot of people can see what's going on. But when the light clears, people are wondering, what? Nothing happened. And then that's when Kirui seemed like he almost blew a gasket and saying, wait, that's not a card. That's a patient ID. What are you doing, Chrono? And it was kind of hilarious in a way from my end. But seeing him make a mistake, okay, there's something completely wrong about this. And after Chrono would actually go into his stride form, he would then sack the other 2 damage per game. And then we see Tokoha towards the end saying, hey, I'm going to fight you next. And ending the episode on that note is just saying, alright, I think we see how this little band of friends can really grow. With Kamui actually in a mentor type of position, we see Chrono starting to grow and develop and make these new connections with people through the world of Cardfight Vanguard, which is pretty amazing in my opinion. On that note, we'll end the episode breakdown there. I hope that you've enjoyed the episode breakdown with the use of screenshots and whatever. I'll also provide a link in the description down below to the Cardfight Vanguard episode so you can watch the whole thing in its entirety for yourself. And before I break the episode of Unlocking the Week, I'd like to just make an announcement that I'll make a vlog by the end of the week as to the state of the channel, as well as a formal Q&A session with you guys. At least for, offering you the chance to ask or request for what content you would like to see more of on this channel in particular. I know that with the video content we put out every week, from matches, trade binders, deck profiles, vlog videos, whatever you feel like there could be an improvement on, feel free to comment down below with it. We have better resources, utilizing a tripod, utilizing a new video program that I picked up a month ago, and really putting that to work. I want to know, at least from our audience, to see what you want to see more of and what you think we should improve on. I know one of the glaring issues about the Unlocks the Week episode would be the big length that's involved in making it. Because, of course, I can really talk a lot about the episode, which takes up more than half of the entire vlog. So I want to extend an invitation to you guys if you want to already comment down with any suggestions or comments about the quality of videos you've seen on this channel. Feel free to, because we will be open to any comments that you have, and we will try to respond in a reasonable amount of time. And that's it for this week of AlphonZeus Unlocks the Week. I hope that you've enjoyed this week that I've unlocked for you. And take care, guys. We'll see you next time.